I bought some storybooks for my son. He was then 7. I began to read him these stories. The next thing I knew, I was acting the stories out, standing on his chair, flapping my arms and waving around. So at the end of my performance, which was supposed to be a bedtime story, the kid was ready for popcorn and soda after that instead of sleep. And so I knew then I had something. I could perform comedy, I could perform acting, and I could do poetry, and I could wrap it all up in a package called storytelling.
The old man thought he heard something in the wind. He stopped, he listened, the wind blew. A voice came through the wind. Who's got my golden horn? The old man said,
So he started walking faster, and then he stopped. He said, wait a minute, Jib, that had to be your imagination. He listened, the wind blew.
The voice came through louder. Who's got my golden horn?
So you just have to realize that you have powers and talents that are innate within you.
The old man said,
Boogity, 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 boogity. He ran back on. He slammed the front door, kablam!
And if you continue to tap into that inner energy inside of you, you can become whatever you want to be in this life.
The door to block it. Then he ran upstairs to the second floor bedroom. Boogity, 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 boogity. He slammed the bedroom door, kablam!
You know what? There was a spider. His name was Anansi. And Anansi had 6 sons. His first son was called Sea Trouble. Sea Trouble. That's because he had psychic powers and he could see trouble a long way off.
This is the tale of some goats and a troll. And the troll lived under a bridge, you know. He guarded that bridge every night and day. He got me up if you went that way. But the grass was green on the other side. So the goats decided to give it a try. The little Billy goat was the first that day. His feet went trip, trap, trip, trap. Hey, who's that trip, trapping over my bridge? Hey, fool, be cool, it's me, you see. Well, I got a hunch you be my lunch.
Does anybody recognize that music? They call that music the entertainer. As a matter of fact, they called me the entertainer. My business card reads just that way. It says, oh, Scott Joplin, the entertainer. Making people happy with my music was what my life was all about. I wrote this song when I lived in the fine city of St. Louis about 90 years ago. But in
I was always reading. All the time, avid reader. I started with comic books, I must say. I outgrew Archie and Porky Pig, and I then evolved into the Marvel comics. And I was fascinated by this literature, these comic books, because they introduced me to all sorts of new words, and that led me into reading the dictionary.
You know, a highfalutin newspaper critic who wrote for the now defunct Globe Democrat said of the entertainer, and I quote, "The entertainer is a jingling work of a very original character, which sets off various strains of a retentive character, which sets the foot in spontaneous action and leaves an indelible imprint upon the tympanum. That's an unforgettable sound to the ear. And what all of that means is that this music makes you want to dance."
Where they sat on mom or dad's lap or sat in grandma or grandpa's lap and listened to stories as a child. When they were in grade school, they listened to stories being told by their teacher or the librarian. And bedtime stories, campfire stories. We all have that need to hear stories.
Then he pulled out a knife, so I gave it off because of fear of my life. When I got home, I told my mama went on. She said, "I'm calling the police," and she picked up the phone. The boy was arrested, and we went downtown. So I told the police what went down. I told him about the money, the knife and chain. He said, "Thugs today, why, they must be insane." The boy jail and he did his time. Well, that very was the purpose of me saying this rhyme, because when the boy got out, he urged her cry never chill. Later on that year, the young boy was killed. Well, the story is told, and I'm gonna go home. By the way, LGA stands for Leave Gangs Alone.
I think the importance is to not lose sight of the spoken word and that transference of warm energy between one human being to another.